And I remember talking to my mom one day, and it just clicked that, wow, she was a woman that was in love with a no good man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when that realization hit me, because I was like, why do you keep going back? Why did have you lost your mind? I would never. You know, I held judgment. But then when I just really sat down, and as I'm listening to her talk, to say she was just a woman in love with a man.
Right. Yep. That's so funny because at dinner last night, I was telling them, I'm just now starting to see my mom as a woman and not my mom.
Yep. Right.
Because those are two separate people.
Two separate things.
People.
It's two separate things.
Life keeps changing, and I keep aging. Turn my stress into blessings. I'm here to share my lessons. Tracy Marchelle.
Hey, and welcome back to Girl, I'm Making It Through. I'm your host, Tracy Marchelle, and today, we're diving into a topic that every mama, auntie, grandma, and godmama needs to hear about. Escape, exhale, empower. The power of a momcation. Now listen, when you're wiping noses, navigating toddler meltdowns, or trying to remember the last time you peed without someone knocking on the door, this episode is for you. I'm joined today by a fierce, funny, and fabulous group of young mothers who said, you know what? I love my kids, but I need a break. And guess what? That break isn't selfish, it's sacred. We're going to talk about what a momcation really is, why it's necessary, and how it helps women reset, and what it looks like to step away without guilt and come back stronger. Because no matter your age, every woman deserves a moment to escape, a space to excel, and a path that helps her empower herself again. So if you're running on fumes or you just curious about what it looks like to reclaim your peace on purpose, girl, go ahead and press play. Let's get into it. All right. I want to take some time to welcome my guests to the show, and we'll do some introductions. And I am so pleased to have you guys here today. And my daughter is in the building. So we'll start with her. Introduce yourself, Punk. You might want to start with why I call you Punk. So the world won't think it, you know.
Yeah. It's short for what? Punkerdoodle?
Yes.
But my name is Rachelle. I also go by Ray. Yeah. That's my mom.
Yeah. All right. And we'll go here.
My name is Bernita. Everybody calls me Bree.
Okay.
I'm Ashana. Everybody calls me Ashana.
Yes.
My name is Michelle. Everybody that is family calls me Shell.
All right. So we're going to start with you, Michelle, actually, as you were the person to start Momcation. Okay. Tell me why. Why did you start Momcation?
I noticed that after I had my son in 2022, I was going through postpartum, and although I didn't get so involved in the depression part, I started showing signs of postpartum psychosis. Mm-hmm. And what that is basically when if something's out of line, you instantly get mood swings. I felt like my days were going up and down. I would lose my train of thought, and I needed a break.
Yes.
But I didn't know how to ask for a break because I felt like everybody wanted me to be a great mom. I had to be a great wife. I had to make sure the house was clean. But nobody understood what I was going through on a day-to-day basis, trying to keep everything together because that's what the expectation is for the mom.
Yes.
So I also noticed that I did not have a lot of mom friends. Mm-hmm. And the only mom friend that I had was your daughter, Punk, which I called Ray. And I said, Ray, I just need a break. I'm about to lose it. And she said, girl, me too. And I said, is this normal? And she says, yes. And I said, well, let's go take a vacation. Just leave the kids. Let's leave our husbands with these kids. Let's leave the house. We need a break. And she said, yeah, I agree. And so from there, I said, but I don't want it to be just me and you, because me and you always vibe. We always have a good time. Let's extend it to more moms, because if you're feeling this way, I know I can't be the only one.
Correct. Yes.
And so that's how we got Momcation.
Awesome. And really the basis of this show and why I wanted to have you guys on is sometimes we think we're alone in what we're going through. And we're not. We're
Right.
not. I mean, there's lots of other women, y'all know I'm of a certain age and going through menopause. And, it's been very helpful in my community now to have women that have gone through menopause or
Right.
that are going through it or that have experienced the things that I've experienced that I'm able to learn from. So I think having this platform to be able to share women issues is so important.
Right.
So
Yes,
having you
absolutely.
guys on talking about this being a mom, and later in the show, I'll get into my experience as Punk's mom. But it's very important. And I'm glad that you guys, or that you recognize that and that you started this Momcation. And then you extended the offer to these beautiful ladies as well. So this is, what year is this of Momcation? Second year.
Second.
Okay, second year. So first one, you guys go where?
Helen, Georgia.
Helen, Georgia. Okay.
Yes.
What did you think about that experience, Paul?
Oh, I loved it.
You loved it?
Yes, it was my first time. I had never been to Helen. And so that was my first time going. It was very relaxing. Did we have a cabin?
We had a
Yes.
cabin.
The cabin was nice. It was nice for us to have our own space, own rooms, own bed, own just have our
the
space.
bathroom in peace.
Right. But it was very relaxing. We were able to just move at our own leisure. No schedule, but it was very relaxing. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. So anything you learned from that first one after you got home, what did you say? Wow, okay.
We're going to do this again.
Okay, got it.
We don't have a choice but to do this again.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? It was just nice. We all vibed. We all just, like I said, we moved. If somebody wanted to do something, different idea, like, hey, what do we all think? You want to go here? You want to go there? Like, let's just do it. And it was just nice. It was peaceful. I don't even know, really, like, lost the words for it.
Yes.
Because it was much
peace.
needed, and I know we're going to do it again. We have to.
We started, I guess we were like, okay, Ray, you're planning next year. So she started planning immediately.
Right.
Like we
Okay.
already knew that we were coming to St. Augustine probably by June.
Yeah.
We went in May.
Yep.
So what did you get from Ashanti?
I just
The first
had
one.
so much fun. Even though I had to leave a little bit early the last day to get back for my daughter's birthday party.
Okay.
We had so much fun just being away.
Yes.
And not having to worry about anybody but ourselves.
Okay.
We got tattoos.
Wow.
We had cocktails. We had mom talks. We painted. We just enjoyed each other and just being at peace in our minds with just a short amount of time. It was great. It really was.
What was your experience like, Bree?
They painted. I did not. Because what I have realized is they're the artist. I am not.
Okay.
So, no, I enjoyed it. It was my idea to do the tattoos. I thought that would be cool for each one of us to get what we wanted in terms of a tattoo. Because I'm the one that's got them everywhere. But I felt like it was just a great opportunity for us to bond and spend time together. I think at the time I probably knew Ray the best, but I was getting to know Ashana and I was getting to know Michelle for sure. And it was definitely just worth the time to spend with them. And I think we've all grown, our friendships have grown so much more because of it.
And that's another thing, another topic with women, sisterhood. Celebrating sisterhood and being there for each other. And I'll start with Ray on this one just because she's the common denominator here on how she met each one of you and how long you guys have been friends. And
Okay. Well, Michelle, I've known the longest. We met in 2008 at at Columbus State University.
You have to tell the story, though.
Oh, man. So I knew Michelle a little bit, kind of like seen her in passing, or, you know, we had friends in common kind of thing. But we were at a party, and my song came on, and I started dancing, and I stepped on Michelle's shoe. And so, you know, she gave me that look, and I gave her that, I'm sorry, girl. So, you know, and then after that, I think we might have ran into each other on campus again, and it was just like, you're my friend. Like, so ever since then, you know, we've been, you know, we were good friends. But I will say, just with Michelle later in life, we more things in common, mom, wife, all that. We became much closer as we've grown. But and then Bree, I met when our daughter started playing softball together. I don't even know how, and I was trying to think in my mind, like, where did we get so close? Where did it just click? But I don't even remember. It just happened organically. And our daughters are like, they are best friends. They are twins.
Yes.
and that was probably what? 3 years ago. But it seems like forever. And then Ashana, I believe Britton came in through Girl Scouts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my daughter Reagan and Jordan were in Girl Scouts together. Something like that. Then Britton came to Girl Scouts. And then it's like, hey, our daughters play softball. Britton should play softball too. And that's how Ashana came about. And yeah, that was what, 3 years ago too? Or 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what would you girls say you've gained from having this sisterhood?
I've gained best friends. I know it is so strange to say, and people will go, well, you haven't known them long enough, and you haven't been around them long enough. I'm going to try and keep from crying on this one.
It's okay.
But I did. I'm the oldest in the group. And I don't feel like it because they don't make me feel like I'm old, so I appreciate that.
We don't care.
But I've had so many friendships and so many relationships that have broken and ended, and it is so crazy because right around the time that I really started to get to know each one of these ladies was around the time that one of my so-called best friends basically broke up with me. She blocked me on everything. She said, I'm done. I don't want to talk to you no more. And I never understood or knew why. And it was so heartbreaking to go through that. And then all of a sudden, these ladies just came into my life and they were just like, okay, we're here. What are we doing? Where are we going?
God will always give you what you need.
Yeah.
And my husband would get so mad because he'd be like, why are we going to go? Because this is what I need.
Yes.
This is what I need. And so when I had my birthday party, I was surrounded by all the ladies here as well as all the ladies that wanted to be in my life. And it just meant so much more to me than the drama of other friends.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say the kids. Like, our kids are growing up together.
Yes.
Our kids go to school together. They're participating in extracurricular activities together.
Yes.
I know for me, my son is the only child. And I plan on keeping it that way, God willing, hopefully. However, I don't want him to grow up privileged. I don't want him to grow up not being able to have friends.
Yes.
By no means am I pushing or enforcing my friends onto him, but to see our kids interact whenever they go over to any of our houses, they can still be themselves.
Yes.
All of us parent pretty much the exact same, which is greatly appreciated.
Which I have witnessed.
And I noticed that one time the kids all came over and they were sitting down eating. All of them started to say their grace together.
Yes.
So that warmed my heart to see that the kids can interact together, and the principles that we have instilled in them
It's across the board.
and that makes me appreciate these ladies, because I know that I'm not the only one teaching them the right thing and to be a productive citizen in this world.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. What would you say, Sean?
For me, it was refreshing because I already had a group of friends from college. But I have been married the longest, and I'm the only one with the kid. Everybody else is kind of still finding their way.
Yes.
So having a group of moms that are moms, but they're also married, because being a wife and a mom simultaneously is a job. And so just having someone that understands, you know, if we can text and send a meme and say, with my hair on fire, and they just get it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And so we have our group text, the Mommy Gang group chat that's, you know, always just kind of going off. And it's just fun. It's fun just to have people that they get it.
They get it.
They get it.
And that's so important, that they get it without it having to be said.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a saying, what's understood don't need to be explained. Yeah.
Exactly.
They understand it.
Absolutely. And if I'm in a bind, I'll call Bree and say, Bree, I need you to get I need you to get Britton from school, or I got to get Jordan from school. You know, it's just good to have somebody right there in your community that you can lean on and be true friends with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I say a part of mine?
Yes.
So I will say, just like with our daughters playing softball, I literally look forward to the games, practice, all of those things, just because I know I'm going to see them. That's my guaranteed time of the week. I know I'm going to see them in person and get a hug and get, you know, just that time together. And like Ashana said, just to know I can call any one of them, no matter the time of day, morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, on the way to work, whatever it is, I can call them and they're like, what you need? Got it. It's no explanation needed. It's no, well, I don't know, maybe. It's, yeah, I got you. That's always the response. And I just truly appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. So my next question is, what has motherhood taught you about yourself? And I'm going to answer this question first. I'll give a little history of me and Punk first before I do that.
Oh, goodness.
Tell it.
So I was a single mom, and definitely not lacking in support. So let me put that out there. Although we were a single parent household, her dad was very present. Our parents were very present in her life. So, but for me, I remember early on in having her, I said to myself, looked at her and said to myself, we will not be a statistic, right? You know, young mother, got a kid, she young, you know, got to be on welfare, those things. And if that's your story, that's your journey. But for me, that was not going to be our story. So she gave me drive, like just determination to be better, do better. And not that mistakes weren't made along the way, but she gave me this incredible force that, God dog it, we about to do this thing. You know what I'm saying? And I still, even though she's grown with kids, I still have that in, you know, it was instilled in me when I had her. And it carried me through life, you know, that we're going to have better things. We're going to do things. She's going to see things, you know, every year in school. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean for that to happen. But every year in school, I made a point that she picks someplace she wants to go for spring break. Just so she knows there's more to the world than your current environment, right? She picked, oh my God. And after the years went on, she started picking some expensive places. Honey, we done been to Beverly Hills. New York City. Like, she picks places. Yeah. We've been to New York a couple of times. Miami. She's gone to Miami a couple of times. And we're talking, you know, middle school, high school. Like, she wilding out. Like, wait a minute, little girl. But it was important for me to make sure that she saw that there's more to life. There's things out there to be seen, to be done, things to be achieved. So for me, the biggest thing I would say, she grounded me and she gave me drive to do better.
Yeah.
So that's my.
That was good.
That's how I made you cry. I know
it was unexpected, but
What you say, Bree? Jordan, Eric, and Ryan has done for you.
Lord Jesus.
The one biggest thing that they have.
They have taught me to do it better. I don't, unfortunately, get the true pleasure of having a mom who is truly there for me as a kid growing up. I went through a lot. And so one of the things for me that was extremely important was breaking generational curses.
Yeah.
We're not doing the same things that we did or that I endured or that I dealt with. And so one of those things was, being with someone who didn't want to be with me. It was a struggle to watch my mom not truly understand her complete worth. And so because she didn't understand her complete worth all of the time, she did some things that she probably shouldn't have done. And I knew I didn't want to do those same things with my kids. I wanted my kids to enjoy being kids, to enjoy having life and having it more abundantly, to be able to go around to different places and learn new things and have lots of friends and just be kids. And so, making sure that I give them the life that I wanted but didn't necessarily always receive was extremely important to me.
And that's a topic we'll talk about that, dive some more into that. Relationship, especially as a parent, the best way, when we know better, we do better, right?
Yes.
Right.
And we'll circle back to that because I want to hit on that now. My baby's in her 30s and understanding some things that I didn't appreciate with my mom, but now understand. So we'll get into that. But what have they made you learn about yourself, within yourself? And I'll let you think about that, and we'll come back to you. What has motherhood taught you, Pump?
Wow. I guess I would say patience and how to communicate. I'm still learning that one, or bringing that one out, because taking the time to actually communicate with your kids and let's have a conversation. What's the matter? Okay, now what are we going to do about it? That whole thing. But definitely patience. Because I wasn't the biggest with patience, but that would be my biggest thing that they have taught me. It's just to slow down, be patient with them, take a breather, But I would say patience.
Yeah.
Michelle, what would you say?
Motherhood and being Titus's mother has taught me an abundance of things. Okay. But to limit for our time, I would say his name. His name comes from the Bible. And I thought it was so unique that God allowed him to be born in the month of February after Valentine's Day. Because if you look in the Bible, it says Titus 2:15, encourage and rebuke with all authority. Let no one despise you. That's what motherhood's taught me.
All right. And that part. That part. What about you?
That was good. I'm going to say patience.
Yes.
Because historically in my life, I am not a patient person. I still struggle with that, just being patient in general. I need it to happen now.
Yes.
So I'd say patience, and it didn't come immediately.
Yes.
Like when she was 2, I was struggling because I just wasn't there yet with my patience.
Yes.
But I had to remember that she hasn't been here before. Right. This is her first time on Earth. This is her first time being 2, 3, 8, 9 years old. And it just taught me that parenting is strategic.
Yes.
And I like what you said about how having Ray, helped you to really think about what you wanted her experience to be. But it also yielded this young lady, here.
Yes.
That's what it taught me, to be strategic about my parenting, because what we do now will yield something later, whether we believe it or not.
Yes.
And to be patient with her.
Yes. And it'll yield, right, good, bad, indifferent. I believe, no matter sometimes what you teach a person, they still have their own mind to go their own way. But what I have learned is you give them the best that you could give them, right? And teach them all you can. And then they will sure have their own mind and, sometimes veer off of what you've taught them. But if you speak loud enough, and I don't mean yelling and things like that, but if you know what I mean? Speak in that soul loud enough.
Yeah.
That when they're out there doing that thing or whatever, at some point in time, they're going to hear your voice. Yeah. My mom would not be happy about this. She would not be happy about this, and you want that. So I was always trying to be purposeful in teaching her. And you spoke about your mom and your experience with your mom. I knew there were things my mom didn't teach me, right? That I always say, if I have a daughter, she gonna know. But what that led to sometimes was oversharing. Not oversharing that things that she shouldn't have known, but just being very straight and blunt and direct with, this is called this.
Right.
Yes. That is called that.
Didn't I tell you that?
Yeah. Because I never wanted her to be somewhere and not know.
Right. Yes.
So I wanted to make sure that I equipped her with the things that she needed in life. Right. Now, one thing that I have also learned, and this is speaking to generational curses that you brought up, my dad was not around, right? He was in and out throughout my childhood, even into adulthood. I always thought that my mom was a superhero. I always looked at my dad, even though he wasn't there, as a superhero, instead of looking at them as human beings, right? So as I grew up and matured, and you guys are starting to experience that now, you're getting enlightened about things that you never thought before.
Yeah.
Coming to the realization that Britton, okay, this is her first time in life being 2.
Yeah.
That's an enlightenment, right? And just as you age, and the people you surround yourself with, you teach each other things without knowing you're teaching each other things.
Yeah.
As you talk about experiences, you develop wisdom about things. I'm always here to give you wisdom, no. Anyway, and we'll talk about that too. But you learn, and I learned, and I remember talking to my mom one day, and it just clicked. That, wow, she was a woman that was in love with a no good man.
Yeah.
And when that realization hit me, because I was like, why do you keep going back? Why did have you lost your mind? I would never. I held judgment. But then when I just really sat down, and as I'm listening to her talk to say she was just a woman in love with a man.
Right.
Yep. That's so funny because at dinner last night, I was telling them I'm just now starting to see my mom as a woman and not my mom.
Yep.
Right.
Because those are two
Separate people.
separate
people.
things. People,
It's
yeah.
two separate
Yeah.
things. And Ray and I actually, and I noticed it. I'm sure she noticed the reaction behind me noticing it, but I never brought it to your attention. That I had to step back and realize, because y'all all know me, and at the end of the day, I raise a roof about mine, right? But I had to realize she's an adult.
And she got it.
And she got it. But she's always been my baby, my only baby.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I will flip a table about my baby. You know what I'm saying? But I had to say, okay, I gave her everything that I could give her.
Yeah.
You know, and same with her dad. He's the same exact way. But we had to come to that conclusion that, you know, we got to let her handle it.
Yeah.
She just has to know we're here. You know what I'm saying? And we got to let her handle it. And then coming to that realization, I found myself falling back. And as I'm falling back from the hovering, she's talking to me more about stuff.
Yeah.
We're having better conversations, more meaningful conversations, you know, because I'm not hovering anymore. But as far as, you know, your mom, I'll say this about that. And any person in your life that you felt like in the past didn't give you what you thought you needed, give grace. And grace is not always for them.
A lot of times for you.
Grace is for you. And forgiveness is for you. You know what I'm saying? Because really it does boil down to, if they knew better, and I'll use my dad as a reference. His parents died when he was 7 and 11 years old. What the hell would he know about being a father?
Yeah.
He never had an example in his household. The people he was passed around to growing up weren't the best example of what a father should be, you know? So when I came to that realization, it was like, okay, dad is human. He did the best he knew how to do. He don't know nothing about being a dad. So how can I hold that against him?
Yeah.
And once I was able to let the anger go and see him in that light, then before he passed, I was able to say, I love you, and I meant it, right?
Yeah.
Not that he had to now be daddy every day or anything like that, but to be able to come to resolve in your heart about what you felt like you didn't get from your mom, it does wonders for you. And I'm sure at some point in time, for her as well.
Yeah.
Right? Because as a mother, the last thing we want to do is fail our children.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's
I think I realized early on that my mom had never been in a healthy relationship with anyone. From her mom, who had 9 other children, and then when she was a baby, she went to go live with her aunt, and they spoiled her, and so she actually thought she was the only child for a very long time. And then she ended up in this house with all these other children, and it's like, oh, these are your brothers and sisters. And she's like, wait a minute, no, it's been me by myself. To growing up, and you know, I think in a lot of ways my mom felt like she had to defend herself against a lot of people. And so for her, she never had anything that was healthy.
Yeah.
And I wanted healthy. I knew I had to have healthy.
And that's it. And in that is empowerment. See?
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you're in a generational curse, right? And they're in every family, I'm sure. Things that are passed down that are unhealthy. A lot of people don't realize it. Realization is power.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
I learned that too. Realization is power, right? Power to change things, to fix it, to give your life a new trajectory.
Yes.
Realization is power. And so that was a little bit heavy, but Momcation, right? What would you ladies share with another mother, a young mother, about self-care?
I can go first.
You can go first.
Okay. So I know there's so many different types of mothers out there, but I'll just speak to moms that are in similar situations as us. Maybe the mom and dad are together. Maybe they're not married. Let the daddy be a daddy. Take your time and let that daddy be a daddy. Because that baby's going to be okay. Dads can be dads. They love their kids just like we love our children. And they may not do it the way that we do it, but they'll get it done. They'll figure it out. Take your time and let that daddy be a daddy.
Okay.
That's what I would tell them.
Okay. What about you, Shell?
I would say let people help you raise your kids. As a first-time mom, I did not want to allow people to raise my kid because that's my baby.
Right.
But what I had to quickly learn was that it was not helping my mental health because I get stressed out. I need a break. And it's okay to say, I need help. Can you please take this child from me? There is nothing in this world wrong with that. I would appreciate anybody who has a child to say, look, I need help. And the help that I need is not necessarily financial, but I need some time to myself.
Yeah.
And I even did it with Ray. I said, Ray, can you get your nephew, please? I just need a break. And she said, oh, happy to. But I say that but because you never know how willing someone else is there to help you if you just ask.
And that goes back to the old saying we always would hear. It takes a village.
Yes.
It really does.
It does
take a village. My daughter happens to be, my friends, a lot of them don't have kids. Sharon has a daughter.
But
and they had kids later, I would say. But Sharon, you and Toya are probably a couple years apart. But so my daughter was their baby too.
Yeah, right.
That she can call, when she needed. When she can't talk to me, she could talk to them, which, like you said earlier, having people in your life that you trust to give your child the same thing that you would if you were teaching them.
Yep.
So it's important to have a village.
Yeah.
What would your advice be, babe?
my advice would be for like the brand new mom that just had your baby. Take that shower, sis. And I mean that by if that your baby's taking a nap, someone else is here, mom, sister, friend, husband, whoever can watch that baby for just 5 minutes. Take that shower, sis, because when I was in that time frame, that shower was everything. You just stand there, let the water run on you. It's decompressing. I've cried in that shower. It's, all the things. Talk to God in the shower. But when you get out, I feel like a little bit inching back to yourself. Like you feel refreshed. Put the lotion on. Get some new clothes on so you don't smell like formula, breast milk, baby, poop, pee, old clothes, like all that. Just refresh yourself because it can do a lot for your mental in just those 5 minutes. So take that shower, sis.
What about you, Brie?
Self-care. I have probably learned that it is okay to say no.
Yes, that's a good one.
So let me tell you. Yes. No is a powerful word.
Yes,
It's a complete sentence.
It's a complete sentence with a period.
Absolutely.
Sometimes exclamation point.
My children all want my attention. My husband wants my attention. The dog wants my attention. And every once in a while, everyone is on top of me while I'm in the bathroom trying to get a moment of peace, and I have to say no.
Yes.
Go somewhere else. Go do something else. Give me a minute. Just give me a moment. Okay. Because if I don't, the next thing I know, I am like, my anxiety is up to here, And if it's up to there, I can't be the mom I need to be for them.
Yep.
So,
So, is there any questions? So, let me just say this first, okay? Y'all are my babies.
yeah.
We're just putting that in public. And I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being such a good friend to my daughter, and giving her village that she needs. You know, I can only give her, well, I won't say I can only give her so much. I have given her everything I know to give her. It's time for her, or had been time for her, to experience her world, her people, establish her surroundings, you know, her village and all of that. And I'll say she has some of the best friends.
That's right.
Yes.
Listen, all day. And some of them are not here. I'll say that. And you guys are here because you're on the Momcation. So the ones that are not here, I love y'all too. But y'all know I love you. And I'm here, and y'all call me Mom.
Yep.
And can call me outside of Rachel, and you do. Yeah. And you have to start. But anything that you all want to ask me,
Can I go first?
you can go first.
Okay. So, it's just as a mom question. Is there anything, I guess, just in raising me that I would say you regret, maybe? Not regret, but like wish you could have done differently?
Yeah. I'm sure there are things. I would say I feel like in my calling myself protecting you, that I probably sheltered you a little bit more than I should have. Just because I knew what was out there, and I didn't want you to go in a particular route, as other moms let their girls run free doing things, you know. Communication probably could have been better, instead of a dictatorship. And part of that, I'm military, so that's probably where a lot of that came from. Do as I say, type,
Not as I do.
as opposed to it more of a give and take. So if I had to say anything, I would say that's probably the biggest thing, because and I've learned this just in these last few years that maybe stifled your voice a little bit, and that was not my intention, because I want you to be loud and proud and have your voice and express yourself without regret, and still know that it would never change my love for you. So if anything, I would say the dictatorship as opposed to the give and take of communication.
Can I have a response to that?
You can.
Okay. So it just because it aligns with now how I am as a mom. Funny you brought those 2 points up. So the first one with feeling like I guess you're saying that you sheltered me a little bit. I guess I would say rebuttal to that is I appreciate it.
Okay.
Because I look at is some women I have come across that I'm like, oh, my mama would never let me do that. and I appreciate that, because I feel like I got to experience life. I got to experience a lot. I got to have fun. I got to go out with my friends. I got to do all the things. But I wasn't wild and free and off a path, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that I was, I appreciate that. I'm going to say that.
Okay.
But the other one where you were saying about like more of the communication, more of a dictatorship, the voice and all that, I did feel that.
Okay.
To where I felt like certain things, like it was just because I said so, that's it, period.
Right.
No opinion, you can't say nothing back.
Right.
Now with Reagan, I do that differently, I guess I can say, because I felt that. So it's, I asked her, okay, well, what do you think? Well, what is this? To a certain extent, but she'll go to say something and she'll kind of draw back like, nah. And I might say it.
Yeah.
Say it loud, yell it if you got, or she'll feel like timid to say like, oh, I was gonna say this, but you might get mad, Mommy. And I'm like, you don't know that.
Yeah.
Say what you need to say.
Yeah.
It's okay. We can talk about it, you know. So I do that differently. But like you said, I felt like going on in life, like you said, that's something you learn, you had to realize. And that's where I came to realize my mom is just a person.
Yeah.
My mom is human. She's allowed to keep learning.
Yeah.
Even at my 34, almost
Don't
30.
make me cry.
Even at my 34, almost 35 self, my mom still is allowed to learn me and learn how to still be a mom with a 35-year-old. Like,
Right.
Yeah. So,
It's an ever-evolving process.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest lesson. Like, you're never too old, or you never stop being a mom.
Right.
You never stop.
Yeah.
You just do it in different ways.
I wanted to make a comment about what you said about Reagan wanting to say something and then drawing back. Britton does that too. And I always tell her, if you can say how you truly feel to me, nobody in the world can silence you. Because I'm the mama. You know? So I want her to be comfortable with her voice so that, nobody will be able to stifle her voice when she goes out into the world. So I think that's great.
Okay.
So I have an issue. I want to put it out there. I have an issue, and it's personal. It is personal. I'll accept it. Okay. Acknowledgement. Okay. Talk about that. I love our community that we have for my son. And my question is more so for advice for me.
Okay.
I allow my community to discipline my child. I believe in community discipline. I believe in community parenting because I can't do it by myself.
Right.
What advice would you give me as the mom? Because sometimes I feel like I get judged by allowing others to discipline my child, but I don't always want to step in because he needs to learn how to obey
others.
So it's not saying I don't want you to discipline my child, but the judgment, the guilt of, well, you just gonna let Ray spank your child? Yes.
Right.
She's handled, that was a situation that she's having with him.
Right.
And I trust my sister
Right.
Yep.
Right.
if he's gonna be with her.
Right. Well, I think you answered your own question.
Okay.
Because you've created this village. And as you said earlier, you guys, when your kids are at each other's house, y'all teach them the same values, the same principles, and in that, the same child rearing, right? When Rachelle was growing up, all her friends know, all they mamas know, if they come to my house and get out of line, I'm gonna tap that ass.
I know that's right.
Period. They knew that.
Yeah.
And they knew that the house was of structure. They knew that they would have a good time. They knew I was crazy. And they all loved to come.
Yeah.
And I would tell their moms, if you have a problem with that, they don't need to be at my house.
Yep.
Now, one thing about motherhood, people judge without knowing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And as a mom, you make the best decisions that you can make concerning the raising of your child. So you have to just turn off the noise outside of that. You've created an environment of trust that you know Rachelle is not going to just be whooping Titus to be whooping Titus.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So my response to them would be, let me handle mine. That would be my response. So you've already established that. You have the trust there, and whoever you allow Titus to be with, that they're going to treat Titus like they would treat their child. So, yeah, I would say, let me handle my child, period. That's my
it.
response to that. Do you have a question for me?
I do. So you talked a lot about your viewpoint on how you wanted to raise Rachelle. And I want to know how you took care of yourself as a single mom, a young single mom, raising a daughter. How did you take care of yourself? Or did you take care of yourself?
So, I did not, if I'm being honest. Because gosh, and that might make me emotional. I always felt like I had to just be on go to make sure we had what we needed. We needed to, that she had what she needed, that I had to create this environment for her. I was always on go. So my whole life, I've always been the go-to person, right? For, oh goodness, my family, friends. So I didn't do a lot of self-care, but I will say this. I'm making up for it now.
I know yes, you are.
I am
Yes, she is.
making up for it now. I just always had, like I said, she created this drive in me that I felt like I was invincible. You know what I mean? And a lot of times I didn't even stop to think, you have to take care of yourself. You have to do the things that make you happy. You have to, I didn't stop to think about those things.
Yeah.
But again, as you age, you gain wisdom. And, and for me, a lot of it was establishing a relationship with God and getting grounded and him giving me permission now in my life to be all about me.
Yeah.
All about me.
Yeah.
And as this show continues, people will learn.
Yeah.
I am all about thee. And making
so
me
good.
happy at this point in life. So I would say I did not do a lot of self-care, but it's never too late to start. Never too late to start.
Yeah.
So my question is, what advice would you give me? I have great relationships with a ton of moms, including my mother-in-law and you and Nana and others that have come into my life to be a mother figure to me. And I just recently reconnected back with my mom after not speaking for about 2-3 years. Because it was what was best and healthy for me. It was what was best and healthy for my children. But I really want to help my mom learn how we move forward where it's healthy and it works and it's a good relationship. So what advice do you give me? Because I understand and know the piece and the place that I have to play, but I think my mom sometimes doesn't quite know how does she come back into the fold? How does she make this work, knowing that, we've struggled so much, and what do we do to move forward?
Let me ask this question. Did she initiate that or did you?
I did.
You did. Okay. And that's important to know because sometimes people are not ready, right? As much as you want them to be ready. Understand that she is a person, like we talked about, not just in the figure of mom. Keep your boundaries very clear. Don't have expectation. Because even in that, people will disappoint us. It may be something you want, but she may not be ready to handle right now. And then that sets you up for another round of hurt. So I would say go into it knowing that and just don't put any spin on it. Don't put any expectation on it. If you want to say hi, say hi. If you don't want to talk, don't talk. Just protect your heart. I would say that, protect your heart. Because in my journey of life, I've learned just that. People will disappoint you. And a lot of times it's the people closest to you that you think would stand up for you, that would respond with the same love that you give. And they've just not reached that point yet. Not that they don't want to, they just may not know better now. You know what I mean? So just, I would say, establish your boundaries, protect your peace and the peace you've established for your family, and don't have an expectation. Yeah, I would say that. So, wow, this has really been great.
So good.
Honest conversation. And I thank you, ladies, for being honest and asking the questions. And certainly, I want to have you back on because now I really like this. So good. It was really good, and it's good for me because, and I'm gonna have a lot of talk with some older women in my age range, but I feel like even though you guys are a couple decades younger than me, that I learned from you as well about where you are in life and, whatever I can do to help you get to where I am. I'm here to give it. So thanks for the honest conversation. Momcation, a definite must.
Yes.
And ladies out there, if you find yourself, listen to the advice that these ladies gave. And take the shower, as Ray said. Take the shower.
Take the vacation.
Take the vacation. Yes, and find your peace.
Yes.
And I just really, again, sincerely thank you guys. And Momcation
2026 is loading.
Yes.
This time planning. This time we're taking a flight. We don't know where our destination is, but we will be boarding a plane to wherever it is.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up the show. And I thank you guys. I thank you guys for listening to Girl, I'm Making It Through with Tracy Marchelle. I look forward to the next episode. Listen, don't forget to follow us, to like, share, and subscribe, okay? You'll find that down there. All right, we're out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Whew, what a beautiful, honest conversation. To every mom out there listening, whether you're planning your first momcation or still trying to steal 5 quiet minutes in the bathroom, I see you. I honor you. We're not built to run on empty, sis. You can't pour into others if your own cup is bone dry. Rest is not a luxury. It's a requirement. And taking time for yourself, that's not being selfish. That's being wise and taking self-interest. I hope today's episode reminded you of the power in pressing pause, that you're worthy of escape. You deserve to excel, and you are always just one decision away from feeling empowered again. If this spoke to you, share it with another mama who needs the reminder. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Leave a review, and meet me back here next week for a real talk and soul-filling conversation. Until then, be kind to yourself. Take a nap, book the trip, and girl, keep making it through.
Life keeps changing, and I keep aging. Turn my stress into blessings. I'm here to share my